every organization has its own resolution process and has its own statuses that cases might be in, whether it's in progress, waiting, on hold, whatever those individual situations are. So one of the things that's nice from a Dynamics perspective is the ability to customize these status reason transitions to define specifically how people might move from one status to another. Now, this will be available to the agent when they're actually in the system. So again, this is one of those kind of customization scenarios that we can set up to make sure that it is working the way agents are intending. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to switch back into our kind of traditional web interface. So I'm going to go up to Dynamics 365, click on Custom. And then in here, I'm actually going to go into Settings and Customizations, and I'm going to customize the system. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually going to customize the available status transitions that are there from a case perspective. So I'm going to go ahead and maximize this, and then I'm going to expand entities, and I'll find the case entity and expand the case entity, and I'm going to click on Fields. So there's a few different fields that make this up. There's the actual case status, and then there's what's called the status reason. So you'll see in here that I have a state code, which is the status field, and then I have a status reason field. I'm going to go ahead and open up this status reason field. And if I look down here at the bottom, and again, I'll maximize this just to make it easier to see, I can see that there's three different statuses here. There's an active status, a resolved status, and a canceled status. But each one of these statuses has what are called multiple status reasons that provide a little bit additional detail about that particular item. So it was a resolved case, but was it a resolved case because the problem was solved, or was it a resolved case because I sent information to them? So this is where if I wanted to add some additional status reasons that would define what's going on within this particular scenario, I could do that. Same thing with active. I can see that it's active but because it's in progress, or it's on hold, or waiting for details. So simply by coming over here and hitting add, I can add additional status reasons that would define what we want to do for that particular item. Now, the other advantage to this is I can also control how I transition from one status to another. So up here where it says Edit Status Reason Transitions, when I click on this, this gives me the ability to customize how people might move from one status reason to another status reason in the application. So for example, if I choose to enable status reason transitions, when a call is in progress, I can define what specific statuses we have the ability to go to when a call is in progress. So I can go ahead and click on my ellipses, and I can say when somebody is working on a call that's in progress, they have the ability to transition to either putting them on hold, waiting for details, researching, we'll say problem solved, and canceled. And so what that does is it limits what specific transitions people can go to from one item to another. Now, the only rule that you have to remember is when you're working through an active status transition, it has to be able to go to at least one inactive type scenario. So I do have to provide a path to go to either, cancel or merged or problem solved. So for example, if a case is on hold, what can I do? Well, from an on hold perspective, I can either go to in progress from a case standpoint, I can go to canceled, and I can go to problem solved. And so what this does is allows me to define specifically how people want to work through. So you go in, customize these status transitions for each individual one, particularly from the active ones. You don't need to worry as much about the inactive ones, the resolved and the canceled, but from an active one. Once you're done, you can click on OK. You can then go ahead and publish your customizations, and these transitions will now be utilized in the application. That'll provide a much more custom experience for your agents as they're actually working through the transitions from one case status to another.